بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد وعجل فرجه. Tonight we will take some samples of the Imams of Ahlul Bayt, of their approach to the Quran and how they unfold some of the meaning of some of the verses in the Quran, and how they interpret them for us, and why sometimes we see some articles of faith in the Shia jurisprudence is different from other traditions, and why. And that is based primarily on the understanding of the Quran and the approach to the verses of the Quran. And we follow the family of the Prophet because we believe that they are the closest people to the Prophet. They inherited the legacy of the Prophet, the knowledge of the Prophet, specifically the knowledge of the Quran and the understanding of the Quran. It was passed by the Prophet to his progeny, to his children, to the Imams, to his successors. So when it comes to the understanding of a verse, we go to Ahlul Bayt. We knock at their door. We don't go. And this is not only we, but this was the seerah, the tradition of many of the companions of the Prophet. They say, when Imam Ali is there, I would not go to somewhere else. I go to the source of knowledge. We have a saying, the Muslims in general, they have a saying. The saying, the proverb says, إِذَا حَضَرَ الْمَاء بَطَلَ التَّيَمُّمْ. When water is available, then you don't do tayammum. You don't resort to tayammum is an exception. So when Imam Ali, Imam al-Baqir, Imam al-Sadiq are there, they are the gates of knowledge to the Prophet. So we don't go to others when it comes to interpreting the Quran for us. So we will take a couple of examples tonight as why we have differences in these articles of faith between these traditions. Why we find the answer is in the way they approach the Quran, they understand it, they interpret it. Number one example is the ayah regarding the wudu, which is in Surah Al-Ma'idah, and that is chapter 5, ayah number 6. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا قمتم إلى الصلاة فاغسلوا وجوهكم وأيديكم إلى المرافق. O who you believe, when you stand for prayers, when you want to perform prayers, then you must do wudu. Wudu is wajib, mandatory. لا صلاة بغير طهور. There is no prayers. The prayers is not going to be validated or accepted with no wudu. Either wudu or tayammum or ghusl. So فَاغْسِلُوا وُجُوهَكُمْ وَأَيْدِيَكُمْ. Very plain, very simple. Wash your faces, وُجُوهَكُمْ, because it's in a plural term. وَأَيْدِيَكُمْ إِلَى الْمَرَافِقِ. And your arms up to your elbows. Up to your elbows. How do we do the wudu? In this tradition of Ahlul Bayt, we pour the water this way. Look at me, Haj Nadeem. This way. In other traditions, they do it this way. They put the water and then it goes down. Why? Because they say up to the elbows. But according to Ahlul Bayt, we say up to the elbows means Allah says aydiyakum, your arms. The arm, it could be up to here, up to there, up to there, up to there, up to there, up to there. This is all arms. So Allah is not saying do it this way, from above, from below to above. No. Allah wants to say this is the size that should be covered. up to the elbows, it means not more than that. This is not required. From elbows and down there. So this is one point, one difference. Up to the elbows, it does not mean that you go from down to up, but you go from always up to down, always. Like when you wash your body, how do you wash your body? Do you wash it from down to up, Dr. Ali? When you go to any person, any country, when they shower, do they shower from, down, they go up? Huh?
New style.
Which style is this? Which country? Definitely they go from up to down. So this is the normal way. This is spontaneous, natural way. So we do it from up to down. But ila, it means you don't have to wash above your elbow. So this is number one. Number two, excuse me. فاغسلوا وجوهكم وأيديكم إلى المرافق وامسحوا and wipe وامسحوا and wipe برؤوسكم وأرجلكم إلى الكعبين and wipe your heads and your feet up to your ankles. Okay? Now, where is the difference, my friends? Dr. Ali, do we? There are two traditions. Sunni tradition, they say, ru'us, it means the entire head. So you have to wipe your ears, the back of your head, the side, this side. Shia tradition, they say part of your head. Where is this? Imam al-Baqir says, number one, قال به القرآن. Read the Quran. Number one. Number two, وعمل به رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. The Prophet, he showed us, he practiced. The Prophet, he used to practice Islam for his followers, so they look at him, the way he does wudu, the way he does prayers, the way he does Hajj. They look at him and they follow him. So we have two evidences. One is the practice of the Prophet. The second is the Quran itself. So how do we understand? How do we know that this is part of the head? Dr. Omid, how do we know? Not the entire head, part of it. So it does not include the ears, for instance.
Is it the word wipe, not wash, or?
No, not wipe. Definitely not wipe. Because both Sunnis and Shias, they wipe their head. They don't wash it. Now we will come to the washing, that is the feet, the second mas'ala. But the first mas'ala, they both wipe. But the Sunnis, they wipe almost the entire head. The Shias, they wipe part of the head.
Is it the definition of ru'us? What it mean? What is the anatomy of ru'usakum? Or
the ba in ru'usakum?
Mm-hmm. برؤوسكم.
Right. Is it the
Ba here illustrates that part of, not the entire. Part of. We have two concepts. One concept is called tab'id. Tab'id. The second concept is called isti'ab. Isti'ab, it means all. Tab'id means some or part of. Part of. So, biru'usikum, God, Dr. Ali, God could have said, wamsahu, look, Dr. Ali, look at this, please. Wamsahu ru'usakum. Ru'usakum. رؤوسكم. Why did he bring B? He could have said رؤوسكم, wipe your heads. But he didn't say that. Because the verse before it, إذا قمتم إلى الصلاة فاغسلوا وجوهكم, not بوجوهكم, وجوهكم. It means the face. This is the face. Watch. In Arabic, everybody knows this is the face, and it has to be from the hairline up to the chin. And the width, whatever the thumb and the middle finger encompasses. So that's the width, and that's the length. So this is the face.
Right.
So he said, wash your faces, not biwujuhikum. He said, wujuhakum. Wa aydiyakum, your hands, but also he put a cap, ila al-marafiq, not the entire, because this could be hand, this could be arm, okay? He said, no, ila al-marafiq, up to here. So from here up to here, okay? But when it came to the head, biru'usikum. He did not say ru'usakum. He restricted it. He restricted the size, the area, by putting B in the beginning. Biru'usikum. And B, my friends, it means part of your, not your heads, your complete heads. Part of it. It is tab'id, some, part of. Not isti'ab, not the entire area. So this is a matter of grammar, if you understand the Quran. Because God does not have even one letter extra or less. When He puts one letter, then there is a reason for it. It's not by accident. It's not by accident. He didn't say وَرُؤُوسَكُمْ. He could have said, much easier for him to say وَرُؤُوسَكُمْ وَامْسَحُوا رُؤُوسَكُمْ. But he didn't say, he said وَامْسَحُوا بِرُؤُوسِكُمْ. بِرُؤُوسِكُمْ. Wipe your heads. We understand two things from B here. From this letter B, we understand two things. Number one, it is part of the head. Number two is what? What do you understand from using the letter B? Part of it, not all of it.
Because the previous verse was wash the hands and the water in the water.
Are they combining for the next word?
No.
Oh.
We look at biru'usikum. It has two indications. One indication we found out that it is part of your head. Part. And I will tell you how part according to the madhahib in Islam. Because also they differ on the size. We will come to that later. But what is the second connotation of biru'usikum?
With? Or can you be with using or with? Or?
He says biru'usikum, it means that your hand has to wipe your head, not that your head wipes your hand. Meaning that the wetness, okay, the wetness is transferred from your hand to your head, not vice versa. This is how you wipe your head with your hand, not you wipe your hand with your head. This is the second connotation. Dr. Umid.
So I don't understand. So I mean, it's logical that you would wipe your head with your hand.
It is logical, but sometimes the amount of you just came out of shower, you were swimming, your head is what?
Wet.
Very wet. And the amount of water, moisture on your hair is more than the amount of moisture on your hand. So he's trying to say that, listen, you are wiping your head with your hand, not your hand with your head. There is a difference between them. Okay? So, So more زيادة المباني تدل على زيادة المعاني. The jurists, they say زيادة المباني. When you have more letters, زيادة to the more letters, it means more meaning. This is not meaningless. When you have extra letter, it means it entails extra what? Extra meaning. Extra meaning. If you have an extra letter in the Quran, then it means an extra. Quran is not repeating itself, doesn't repeat. Allah is not trying to fill, vacuums there to make the story longer or the lecture longer. No. With every letter he puts, there is a meaning, a new meaning. Okay? Okay. So, now, فامسحوا إذا قمتم إلى الصلاة فاغسلوا وجوهكم وأيديكم إلى المرافق وامسحوا برؤوسكم. But even some Sunni Imams like Imam al-Shafi'i, Muhammad ibn Idris al-Shafi'i, he stresses in his book, he has a book called Al-Umm. His book on Islamic law is called The Mother, Al-Umm. So he stresses that it means part of the head, not the entire head. للتبعيض. Okay? And then, now, there is a difference between the schools of thought. Hanafi, they say it means 1/4 of the head has to be wiped. 1/4. 1/4. This is the Hanafis. Hanafi is the largest, Sunni tradition. 26% of the Sunnis are Hanafis. Okay? And they say it could be from any side. Omid. They say it has to be 1/4. It could be from this side, from back, from front. You choose. But it has to be 1/4. And they say it has to be at least with the 3 fingers. With your hand, it means 3 fingers. This is the minimum. 3 fingers. Whereas Malikis and Hanbalis, they say, what they say? Malikis and Hanbalis. My friends, Dr. Ali. Malikis and Hanbalis, they say no, the entire head. So they neglected ba. They said ba has it's a connector. God is connecting the sentences. Whereas he doesn't need to connect here. It could be perfectly correct if he wants to say وَامْسَحُوا رُؤُوسَكُمْ. He doesn't need to bring B in the middle. B has a reason, has a meaning. But they say no, it hasn't any meaning. So Hanbali and Maliki, they say you have to wipe the entire head from all directions. Okay? But in the Shia tradition, what is our Imams, they say? Number 1, can it be from any direction? So I choose, since it is B part, so I choose this side. Next wudu, I choose that side. Third wudu, this side. Or it has to be a specific. Head means this is the main part of the head. Yes, every part is part of it. But when I say wipe your head, what does your senses tells you? What does logic tell you? What does common sense tells you? Which part of the head?
Crown to hairline.
Yeah, this.
Vertical area.
The top. That is the head. And then what is the minimum requirement? Because Allah says, wipe it, وَامْسَحُوا بِرُؤُوسِكُمْ. So you have to wipe it with your hand. So does it mean you put the whole hand, or there is minimum requirement?
Same as the Shafi'is with the 3 fingers?
No, our Imams, they say 4 fingers. This is, at least this is minimum. This is with 4 fingers. Okay? So that is their understanding of the Quran. Now, what did we say about Maliki? Do you remember? The Malikis and the Hanbalis and the Hanafis. Hanbali. Because Hanafis, they said 1/4. So Malikis and Hanbalis, they said what? Entire. One of their scholars by the name of Al-Qurtubi. Qurtubi was Maliki, and he's from Cordoba in Spain. He lived there. He says even face is considered part of the head. So when God says رؤوسكم برؤوسكم, it means the entire head. But since before it we had to wash the face, so we already did the face. So whatever is left from the face, whatever is left from not washing it, then that one has to be wiped. So it means what? Basically what? What it means? Everything in your head, everything. This side, this side, this is the face. So your ears, the back, everything, every part of your head has to be wiped. This is his understanding. Because ra's, when we say ra's of Nadim, it means his head, his entire head from here. This is called ra's. So because you washed the face already, then the part which is left unwashed has to be wiped. But this is not the understanding of our Imams, neither this is the Sunnah of the Prophet. Because the basic part has to be washed. The non-basic has to be wiped as a symbolic gesture. God does not want you to wash your hair every time, 5 times a day you do wudu. But basic parts like the face, it's good to be washed. Cleanse it from bacteria, from whatever. And your hands, of course, your arm. Because you eat with it, you deal with it, you shake hand with it. As Dr. Ali said, the cleanest part of bathrooms is the sink, because men do not even touch it. Yeah. So this is regarding the head. بِرُؤُسِكُمْ. Now we come to the second, which is what? Wiping the feet. وَأَرْجُلِكُمْ. Now, there are 2 ways of reading this term, your feet. One way is بالنصب, and the other way بالخفض. بالخفض means كسرة here. وأرجلكم برؤوسكم وأرجلكم. Why وأرجلكم? Because when B came here in the beginning, it will break this. It will make خفض. برؤوسكم, not برؤوسكم. This is غلط. This is not right. Okay? التقيت بنديم. I met Nadim. So بنديم, this is his name. I have to say بنديم. But if there is no B, Nadim, then Nadim. But because I said التقيت, I met بنديم, I put the B here, then I have to say بنديم. خفض, كسر. The same thing here. برؤوسكم, not برؤوسكم. No. Neither برؤوسكم. This, no. بِرُؤُوسِكُمْ, because this one, the B, brings down.
How does it change the meaning, Sayyid? So if you put a or o versus a?
It changes the grammar. Because this is the subject now. This is the object. It became the subject. This is the subject, so it has to be down. And then because this is a reference to this, goes back to this. So whatever haraka, whatever position this one takes, because of the waw here, this one will take too. Umid. If we didn't have B here, if we didn't have B, wamsahu, how do you read this? Huh? رؤوسكم. وامسحوا رؤوسكم فتحة. But because we have B, then you bring this one from here, you bring it there, down. Kasra. If we didn't have B, وامسحوا رؤوسكم. وامسحوا رؤوسكم. How should we read this? Because this is also takes the same position like that one. وأرجلكم. But because it follows this. So امسحوا رؤوسكم وأرجلكم. But because we have B برؤوسكم, then this one has to be also B وأرجلكم. It takes the same position and the same action. Ali, just look at me, please. Don't write anything now. When I say same position, it means if this is kasra, this is also kasra. Because this is atf. Waw is for atf. Atf means this follows this. Atf, it means follow. So if this is kasra, this is kasra. If this one was fatha, this is fatha. It takes the same position. And it takes the same action too. What do I mean by action?
The original.
Wiping. And if wiping is limited, tab'id, this one becomes also limited. It has to follow the first one. Okay? Now you can write. You can write. Okay?
Sayyid, what did you say that was?
Which one?
What's the Arabic term for?
Atf.
No,
Kasra, or some people say khafd. Either kasra or khafd. Or fatha. The opposite of kasra is fatha or fath. Okay? Now, my friends, we have two schools when it comes to reading this ayah. We have two schools. Have you heard al-qira'atu sab'? The 7 ways, the 7 traditions of reading the Quran? We will study that one day, inshallah. We will study in this class, we will study. There are 7 ways of reading the Quran. 7 ways. Qira'atu sab'a. According to 7 people. Which are accepted in the Quranic sciences. 3 of them, please, Dr. Ali, just look at me. 3 of those 7, they read it with kasra. The other 3, they read it with fatha. So they are different. When it comes to how do you read, do you say وَأَرْجُلِكُمْ with kasra because it follows this? Or do you say وَأَرْجُلَكُمْ? They differ. They don't have consensus. Half of them, they say no, kasra. The other half, they say no, fatha وَأَرْجُلَكُمْ. In the school of Ahlul Bayt, we say it doesn't matter. Whether you say it with kasra or with fatha, the result is the same. You have to wipe. Those who say fatha, they argue it's fatha. They say though the head has to be wiped, But the feet has to be what? Washed. Because this one does not follow that one. This one is kasra. That one is, it goes back to what? To this one, or it goes back to wujuhakum wa aydiyakum? Huh?
To the first one.
They say it goes back to wujuhakum. اغسلوا إذا قمتم إلى الصلاة فاغسلوا. Wash. وجوهكم وأيديكم. So أرجلكم goes to وجوهكم وأيديكم, so we have to wash. But the Shia tradition, they say this is violating Arabic grammar, and God respects Arabic grammar because Quran is in Arabic. God did not come to. Where do we learn the grammar? From the Quran. From the Quran we learn the grammar. In fact, we bring all our proofs to prove my point in grammar. I bring it from the Quran. So God does not mess up with the grammar. In grammar, they say this fi'l, this object, it goes back to the nearest one, the immediate one, not the farthest one.
Logical.
Exactly.
If he wanted it, he would have put that back here.
Exactly. So it does not go, you cannot skip this one. When you have another object, it goes to the immediate object, not to the ba'id, to the farthest one. So it has to follow this one. And because this one is kasra, this one has to be kasra. And when it is kasra, it means what? Part. It means part, and it means what else? Ali, please listen. I'll give you time to write, because you have to pay attention. When this is kasra, why did I say this is kasra? This is not fatha. Why? According to the grammar rules. Okay? Because it follows what? It follows ru'usakum, or it follows wujuhakum wa aydiyakum. Biru'usikum. So it follows. So it has to be kasra. So once we agree that it has to be kasra, it entails two things. One thing which is easy, we don't have to fight over it between Shias and Sunnis. Part of the feet, and it is explained إلى الكعبين. إلى الكعبين. So we don't have to fight. كعبين is this. This is the Ka'b. Here. This point. So from here to there. Doesn't have to be the entire. So this is, we don't fight over that. We both agree. This is in terms of size. But in terms of whether it is wiping or washing, we have disagreement. Because the school of washing, it says, this goes to اغسلوا, to the face and the hand. The school of wiping, it says, no, it goes to the nearest one. The nearest one is wiping, wamsahu. So why do you have to take it to اغسلوا? You take it to the nearest one. This is the Arabic grammar. And Arabic grammar has no Shia or Sunni. This is a grammar, secular. Grammar is secular. Okay? Number two, Ali. Number two, the Shia, they say, okay, do you want to put it fatha? Put it fatha. No problem. We put it fatha.
Right.
Don't put it kasra. But still it's wiping. How? Because the grammar tells us that originally ru'usakum was fatha. Wamsahu ru'usakum. So the original position of it was fatha. But because B is an exception. When B intruded here, then it turned the fatha, brought the fatha into what? Into kasra. Bi ru'usikum. But originally it was supposed to be wamsahu ru'usakum. Fatha. But because of the B, so the original position of ru'usakum is fatha. Kasra is an exception because of the B. Okay? So arjulakum, when we put arjulakum, even if we don't say arjulikum, never mind. Let's, for the sake of argument, we say, okay, we scrap this. We put this. This one goes back to the original of ru'usakum, which was fatha. Did you get it or not? I'm ready to repeat this 500 times.
Just the last part on the fatha with the rosa, I mean with the وَرْجُلَكُمْ.
وَامْسَحُوا
said, can we put the whole thing, وَغْسِلُوا, that way?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. إذا قمتم إلى الصلاة فاغسلوا وجوهكم وأيديكم إلى المرافق. وجوهكم فتحة وأيديكم فتحة. Okay? إلى المرافق, up to the elbows. وامسحوا. Let me put رؤوسكم now. I will add رؤوسكم وأرجلكم إلى الكعبين. Now see Ali, this is فاغسلوا وجوهكم فتحة وأيديكم فتحة. This one وامسحوا, if we don't put the ba, it is رؤوسكم وأرجلكم, the original. But because the ba came here, once the ba comes, it has to be kasra. And because this one is kasra, this one automatically becomes kasra because it follows this one. It follows the haraka, the position of this one. Atf, this is atf because we have the element waw al-atf, the element of atf. And when you have atf, the latter takes the position of the earlier, automatic. Now, let's say, and this is why we have out of 7, 3 decided that it is kasra, the other 3 decided it's fatha. If it is kasra, then the problem is solved because whatever position this one has, this one is going to take.
Right.
This one is wiping, this one also is going to be wiping. This one is tab'id, part of, this one also is part of, though there is another emphasis which is ila al-ka'bayn, which makes the size, the area, the geographic area clear for us. Ila al-ka'bayn, from here to here. But let's say we don't take this. We agree with those 3 who said fatha. So we read it with وَأَرْجُلَكُمْ وَامْسَحُوا بِرُؤُوسِكُمْ because this is must. Kasra, we all agree because we have B. We cannot say بِرُؤُوسَكُمْ بِرُؤُوسِكُمْ. And here we should say وَأَرْجُلِكُمْ, but let's say for the sake of argument وَأَرْجُلَكُمْ. Even if you say وَأَرْجُلَكُمْ, it's right. You know why? Because of the original position of رُؤُوسَكُمْ. رُؤُوسَكُمْ, if it was only رُؤُوسَكُمْ, it would have been what? Fatha. Because this is fatha, this is fatha. But what makes it kasra is what? The B. The B king.
So said we thought the fatha is fatha because of wujuhakum originally being fatha, or because there's no B?
No, it is the subject of the fi'l.
Okay.
The subject makes it automatically fatha.
B is it a harf jar?
Yes.
Okay.
B harf jar.
Okay.
So once you put B in the beginning, then automatically it becomes biru'usikum.
Would that be ism majrur?
Majroor, yes. So here we say even if you don't want to put وَأَرْجُلِكُمْ, okay, even if you say وَأَرْجُلَكُمْ, still you can read it that way, no problem, no problem, because this goes back to the original status of this, not the secondary status.
Right.
The original status is fatha. Did you get it, Ali?
Yeah.
Because when you have discussion, you have to be scientific. When you sit with guys and they ask you why,
Right.
why? Look at the Quran. The Quran says وَأَرْجُلَكُمْ. So why you are reading it وَأَرْجُلِكُمْ? Tell them no, I don't read it. I read it أَرْجُلَكُمْ. But still, it goes back على محل. محل. They call it محل. محل means the original status.
Right.
And the original status was fatha. Temporarily it was turned into, exceptionally it was turned into kasra. So this is how we read the Quran. This is how Ahlul Bayt extract the fatwa from the Quran. From the Quran. Beside, what is our second evidence to this? That it is washing, not wiping. What is the second one? Beside the Quran itself. The Sunnah of the Prophet. Do you know that all Sunnis, they accept that Ibn Abbas, who they love and they respect, they love him so much. Ibn Abdullah ibn Abbas, great, he's the first cousin of the Prophet, considered Sahabi, they love him. While Imam Ali, not very much so. Why? Imam Ali, there is jealousy. Ibn Abbas, he wasn't Khalifa, so yeah, I praise him, no problem. But Ibn Abbas, when it comes to Imam Ali, it becomes political. Because Imam Ali, Muawiyah had a problem with Imam Ali, Fulan had a problem, Fulan, so he's overshadowed. Ibn Abbas, they have no problem with him, because he's also was a neutral. He was a close friend of Umar ibn al-Khattab. But he followed Imam Ali, of course. But even Umar respected him. So Umar would consult him, talk, because Umar did not see in him as a rival, whereas Imam Ali was a rival. Okay? So they all narrate that Ibn Abbas said, نزلت في المسح ومسح رسول الله. I saw the Prophet wiping. They do that, but then they do the washing. Why they do the washing? And who did that? Which caliph? Uthman, the third one. These are one of his innovations, not Umar.
So is it because he wanted to add something new to give himself
Yes.
some sort of...
Uthman, because most of these changes and innovations took part during the time of the second. So when Uthman came, he could not be left out. He had to do some changing. If you don't do some changing, they say, you are going to be forgotten. So you have to make some changes to be remembered. So he came to the washing. And he said washing makes more sense because people, they come from the dirt, from outside, so it's better, it's more hygienic, more healthy, more fancy to wash. So let's wash. This is what they said.
So they didn't actually use the argument of the literate, like this what you were explaining. Where
Yeah, they use, but they say وَأَرْجُلَكُمْ goes to this and goes to that. عَطَفْ on وُجُوهَكُمْ وَأَيْدِيكُمْ. They skip رؤوسكم.
So even though they have hadith,
Even though they have hadith.
they still...
Dr. Umid, all Sunnis agree that Taraweeh is bid'ah. They say it's bid'ah.
Yeah.
They said the Prophet, when he saw people lining behind him to do Taraweeh, he left them. He went inside his house. He went inside his house. The second night they came, they throw pebbles at the door to tell the Prophet, come out. The Prophet didn't leave. But because Umar said, I want this. This is more fancy, it's more organized. Halu, Jameel, Ni'mat al-Bid'ah. People are organized in the masjid. So I can change the rules. They say this. So they admit that the Prophet didn't do this. Abu Bakr didn't do, Umar brought it. Okay, I follow Umar. Sunnat Umar. And then they invent a hadith. عليكم بسنتي وسنة الخلفاء من بعدي. Follow my tradition and the tradition of Khulafa. So the Prophet gave us permission to follow the Sunnah of the Khulafa. So the Khulafa, they have freedom in changing the rules. And no problem if he brings something new. If he says rather than wiping, do washing, he knows what is best. He knows the maslahah, the interest. So he can change the rules. Like temporary marriage. Umar says, I know temporary marriage. I did practice that during the time of the Prophet. The Sahabas, they practiced. But now I want to ban it. Because I see maslahah in that.
But they didn't follow that. So they followed the Sunnah and the Khulafa. They would have followed Imam Ali as the fourth.
But they didn't. Imam Ali, when he came, he wanted to stop the Taraweeh. They said, no, we follow Sunnah of Umar. We like it this way. We like it. Even I find some people, they say, Sayyid, look, wow, beautiful Taraweeh. See how they... So it's because of it, it is beautiful. Not because God wants you to do this. Because I favor this.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's a good thing when you actually ask. But I'm not saying it's not a good thing, it's just not the right thing. I mean, it's not a sunnah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not-
So this is the reason. So here we understand from the readings and the approach of Ahlul Bayt that this support the concept of wiping. وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. اللهم صل على